I mean, it's such a different with Hangouts, at least you can kind of tell when you were on.
Right.
With this, you can't tell when you're on.
Yeah, I could always tell when I was on because all of a sudden the chat would start.
With this, you can't.
Oh, fuck me! Look at this.
I could always tell when I was on.
See this?
All of a sudden the chat would start.
Every fucking second.
Look at
See this? Fucking Tech Moron Tuesday live. Nothing ever fucking works for me. Look at this stupid shit. Yeah, I was starting to say, I get Tech Moron Tuesday, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, I guess we are here.
Yeah, oh, we're here. No, I can always tell, and I think I just cursed in the first minute.
Yeah, that's okay.
We should just start one more time. Yeah, no, I always knew on the other thing when we were on because usually like the chat would start like flying off the handle, and I'm like, what? What are they talking? Oh, fudge, my nose. Yeah, my finger's up my nose. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Joe heard you before, my Jew homie.
Hey, man, my glasses are fogging up. It's so hot here, man.
For those of you guys that remember, Johnny's Northern California. I'm SoCal. I'm here in Hollywood. It is so. Are we past the first minute? Yes. It is so fucking hot. It is so right now. My eye water is steaming off my eyeballs. My sperm is boiling. I go to take a piss on the sidewalk, and in the air, it's turning into steam. It's really, really fucking hot out here.
Ouch, man. Yeah, it's not supposed to be that hot here, though. Because I'm right next. I'm literally across the street from the ocean.
I'd be walking right in it if it wasn't boiling.
Mm-hmm.
Where? Shauna Marie sings. James Gunn, how you guys doing out there? Jimmy Biter, how hot is it, John? It's so hot. Now I could cook bacon on my taint.
Oh, I heard
hot.
I know a joke. I know a hot joke. I heard this last night. Okay. You know how I think this is an old Johnny Carson actually. You know how hot it is?
How hot is it?
It's so hot that a dog was chasing a cat and they were both walking.
Right now, all the Cosby kids would be like, "Ah!"
I think that's an old Tonight Show joke. But anyway, welcome everybody. It's Johnny Beane and Jonathan Mancuda. 5:20 p.m. August 20th, 2019.
We have Howie today is subbing in for Jay Hannon, and Blue Rhino is subbing in for Dave Nesdall today.
Awesome.
And the good news is, while we are lacking hosts, feel free to join in, of course. And I brought not one, but two, count them, two cool guitars to show.
Awesome. Right on. And I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know what they are.
No, you have not seen them.
Man. Okay, a couple things I'll say real quick.
Let's do roll call because there's a lot of cool people in the chat today.
What do we got? Oh, we got 72 people? Holy cow.
73 people and climbing quick.
Whoa. Who do we got? Fruitcake Tony? Jim Nicholas? Hey now.
Hey now.
Thomas Santiago? Tessie Switch? Hey man. Who else? Anybody else? Shauna Marie Sings is here.
Anybody else? 73 people in the chat. Anybody else? We got
well, there's 73 watching, not necessarily 73 in the chat. That's the trick.
Yeah, there's more. No, there's 73 in the chat. In the chat. There's more watching.
Matt Duffy is here. Josco's Plumbing Supplies here. Hobo Rodeo, is it? Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael?
Hey, man. John BL 5150. Phil Mosley. Mike Health Papa Blue. Brendan B. Squared. Thank you, Sean Zimmerman. Hey, there's Sean Zimmerman. There's Bam Ozzy, some Dave dude, Headstock Harem,
M. McFly.
Tube Supio.
Did we say Shauna Marie Sings again?
Shauna Marie Sings is here. And really quick, you guys, really quick. I updated the podcast. So check us out on iTunes, on Spotify, on Stitcher, and soon iHeartRadio. And I think
thank you for joining us. If you're in the new podcast, thank you.
Oh yeah, if you're listening, and there's listeners. I see the stats. So if you're listening to this stuff, thank you for listening, and come join us over on YouTube.
We'd love to see you.
Just go to Johnny Beane TV, and also this is a pretty neat feature right here. Although I've yet to try it, so I'm probably gonna have to try it. You guys, listen. You guys can now create your own highlights, your own highlight clips of these shows. Okay, here's what you do. You type in the chat exclamation point clip, CLIP. And
was that Johnny? Was that clit? CLIT? Exclamation point.
I just got a text right when I said that, so it might have sounded like it. Oh, David Ennis. Okay, David Ennis, you want a guitar pick? All right, awesome. I'll get that right out tomorrow, man. No. You type in exclamation point clip, CLIP, and that'll create like either a minute or a 90-second clip that you can share yourself everywhere.
So you can show people how you waste your time.
Yeah. There you go. Phil Mosley did it. Phil Mosley just did it. So that should be a link to like the last minute of the show that he can share on Twitter and Facebook and wherever.
Blank Palette just said, I'm here by accident. I was searching for the porn channel and got lost. Blank Palette, that's how I got here as well. So welcome.
Originally?
For some reason, I typed in random stuff like bigblackcocks.com and I came to the Johnny Beane channel. I don't know why, but I'm happy to have a lot of company here. Jim Nicholas has a good eye. He sees one of my gunslingers on the shelf right behind me. This reverse camera is really driving me nuts. Yeah.
That's why you want to do both now. You just want to do both, you know?
Yeah, right there is I'll never go wrong. Scott Nickerson, how are you, man? Jim Nicholas came for the fleshlights. Me too. Me 3.
Oh, man.
The Johnny Beane edition fleshlight, we're going to have a really, really cool neon pink hologram Mancuda edition that accommodates extra small penises like my own. And we're going to sell that on Labor Day. So get your money ready, kids.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you, Tessie Switch. Tessie Switch says, what he likes about the show is that Mancuda instantly makes it not safe for work, which is good because you know what? You guys should be out of work early today, really. Let's have some fun tonight.
Oh, man. My glasses just keep fogging up. They won't stop.
Blank Palette says, I punched in JB instead of BJ. That does mess up the route to the Johnny Beane show, unfortunately. I'm telling you, right now, there's people looking, and there's like horny women at the ready with vibrators ready to go, looking for big black cocks, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Who are these two guys?
Who are these losers? That's great.
Gosh. Wow.
Well, we're happy to have everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday edition, Tech More on Tuesday. As you see, I already screwed up my my audio like the second I come on. Just my fault.
It's weird.
Brendan Buttcheeks wants to know, says, I have a question. Where the F did it go? And there it goes.
I see it. I have a question about doing live videos.
Porno?
What do I use for video and sound? You mean like, huh?
If you want to duplicate my setup, get the most ghetto crap you could find at a garage sale. Make sure it's at least 10 years outdated, and your audio and photo will look just like me.
Or you can just get a potato.
Let's see. Sean Zimmerman just said, oh boy. Sean Zimmerman says, a small pocket pussy for me. I was watching Cops one night, and the cop pulled out a pocket pussy from a guy's pocket. Cop says, what the hell is this? He says, it's my good times device. And the cop set it right down. This is taking a turn for the worse. And yes, Jim Nicholas, I will be talking about Vinnie Vincent today. I absolutely will. The Vinnie Vincent birthday event. I will be mentioning that in today's news.
Cool. I didn't even know those things existed, man. I don't even that pocket thing.
Well, you've never been to a sex shop either, right?
Pocket thing. No, I lived in Miami. I lived in Florida. They're on every corner.
But you've never walked in.
I went in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Because now, I mean, I know what to get you for your birthday now.
Oh no.
And you said, well, you've said you've never been to a strip club.
No.
That's why you have more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you have more money. That's smart.
Wow.
Gary Tholander says, I have a job interview tomorrow. Can I use you guys as personal references? Gary, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I want to be called up as your personal reference. So they'll say, Gary Tholander worked for you for your corporation, Mr. Mancuda, for says here 15 years. Yes, absolutely. He was our top CEO VP of OU812 in the BS department. He came to us with a degree in BJ, and we were very impressed with his skills all around. Certainly, he's one man to have on your team.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
I will give you my number off camera.
That'd be crazy, actually.
See this?
My
camera just took a dive. This is exactly why we call it Tech Moron Tuesday. Look at that shit. I can't even have like a normal setup without something fucking up.
What's that on? Like it's on like a phone book or something?
Yeah, it's like balanced on binders and crap and look at this. Do you see this?
Yeah.
It just takes a sideways dive.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah. So anyway, yes, you can use us for personal reference. Please do. I guarantee I'll get you the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feel free.
If not, I have a job for you holding my camera steady. And I'm not even talking about the Johnny Beane show. Yeah, but good luck at your job interview, Gary. We do mean that. So please.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Bo Zeke wants to know, did I hear the latest news about Disney not buying Spider-Man new movie rights from Sony? Is that true? I have to look into that because I was not aware of that. And I am very into that comic book world, obviously. I mean, even today I'm wearing a preview shirt. For those of you that know what that is, it's a magazine that previews the comic books coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right. So should we? Well, Johnny, were you on something before we were interrupted by my camera falling?
Who was it? Was asking? Oh, it was Brendan B. Buttcheeks was saying he meant my camera. Is it a webcam or so? Yeah, I still got to get a new one. Yeah, I just have a USB webcam. It sits on top of my monitor. I close it at night. Or actually, when I'm not on video, the camera is like taken away. It's not like always staring at me. You know. So yeah, I use just a USB. It'd be called external cam. Although you can use anything. You can use a MacBook. You know, you can use a iPad. You know, just make sure you get a little microphone. You know.
I was born with a little microphone. Krellbar says if I move the camera too much, you may see the chat may see someone held up with a gag and ball in his mouth in the corner. Shut up back there. Shut up.
Oh my
Phil
God.
Mosley Music says, "Uh-oh, Johnny's shades have come out."
Yeah, it's too hot here. My glasses, they keep every 5 seconds they're fogging up. Even here they're fogging up, but you guys can't see it because I'm wearing these. It's hot. It's crazy, man.
What's funny is Gary Thallander says, Phil Mosley Music, can I use you for a reference also? He's going to be using all these guys say, yeah, your resume says you were an intern for John Mancuda on a movie. You worked for Johnny Beane then, further upstate. Then you went cross-country to Jasco Plumbing. Then you apparently worked for Pat's Dogs in Chicago. And then you seem to get around a lot for menial jobs. Are you on the lam?
Every reference is like all different countries.
You're a mic adjuster for Shauna Marie Sings. This is really great.
Oh, I just saw my name. Huh? When are we doing the jalapeno hot pepper brandy stream? Oh man.
What is that?
There was a Saturday night where we were John BL and I were eating hot peppers the entire time. And it was you, right? You said you wanted to send me the jalapeno I don't know what, the juice or whatever?
The Jews?
So some sort of what was it?
The he's gonna send you some hot penis juice, is what he said. I want to send you some hot penis juice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, put on your resume that you were official soaker of Nesdal's thumb. You were the operator of a bowl of cold water.
Wow. Oh, there you are, John Bill. You're right there. Yeah, whoever was saying you had the jalapeno, it's some sort of like alcohol. Send it to John BL. Okay. So ask John BL for his address. Send it to him. Because yeah, I can't touch that stuff.
But what are you guys gonna do? You're gonna drink this jalapeno pepper juice?
John BL is. I'm not.
Really?
Yeah, I've got my own jalapenos. But man, my stomach is killing me though from last night, man.
You're not about to shit the chair as we're on the air, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but
that would really suck. Yeah. Howie's like, I got to take Johnny out for a walk. Jeez.
Oh man.
Wow. And I'll be giving my recipe for beef stew as we go off the air.
Wow.
So today I did bring two show off guitars, just cool things. I don't know. Is one celebrity? Is one not? One's associated with a celebrity. It's not a celebrity guitar. I mean, I have some cool stuff. I brought two really neat guitars. Let's put it that way. You can vote if you're satisfied or not, and you can leave comments at the end of the broadcast for the rerun video.
Mm-hmm.
So we're happy to have. Hey, Mitch Heyman. Yeah.
Hey, Mitch.
Who in the chat is going to give Gary Tholender a reference? Because we could put this cross country. It'll be really funny. We'll just say, yeah, your job in 2002 was Washington. 2003, we noticed you had another menial job over in Denver. In 2004, we noticed you absconded to Florida. You're over in Spain in 2005 as a dishwasher. That makes no sense. Oh, Jim Nicholas, you like the Kamikaze, huh? Well, stay tuned.
Oh, man.
Jasco Plumbing wants to know if I have a favorite guitar from my collection. You know what it is, man? I got over 300 guitars, and I do rotate them all in playing, so they all get some love, and they all get maintenance. But, I mean, I'll admit, there are a couple that I get, more use than others, just ones I keep turning back to go for. Certain BC Rich gunslingers, maybe a certain bitch. Like right now on my couch, I was playing a BC Rich bitch 10, and it's a favorite of mine. And I keep going back to it. I keep pulling that one out to, I leave some guitars hanging on the couch so I could always grab something and play it like spur of the moment. You gotta keep guitars out, or at least a couple of them, just something nearby so you don't, not get inspired to just grab one and play or practice or noodle or whatever you do. But this one bitch seems to keep coming back up onto my couch. And by the way, if you're tuning in right now, a bitch is a guitar. I'm not really that disrespectful. So. That's really funny. Someone just tunes in right now. Let's see what this nice Johnny Beane is up to. Yeah, so I keep having this bitch keep come back up on my couch. I keep reaching for this bitch, and I'm slapping on this bitch, and I keep running up and down on this bitch. Oh, my goodness. 9-year-old woman having a heart attack. Let's see. Fruitcake Tony says, there's not enough days in the year to play all your guitars. Do you ever sell any or unload any? I unload a lot. Guitars? Oh
my God.
I saw the word lotion in the chat. So Joe Hervey brought up lotion. I'm sorry. No, I very, very, very rarely sell, only if I'm not bonding with something. And I play multiple guitars a day just to, because I like the variety of it, So like on my couch at one time, there's anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 guitars hanging around my couch at once. And I'll just play them through the day and, rotate them around, float them around, stuff like that. Everyone's talking about load in the chat. You mean the Metallica album? Is that what you mean? Yeah. So let's see. Let's touch on Vinnie Vincent real quick because I know you guys brought it up in the chat. So for many times, Vinnie Vincent, former guitar player of Kiss, former guitar player of the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, former killer of dogs for some reason stuffed into his freezer. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, I've loved Vinnie's playing forever. I'm always very honest and vocal about that. But I have to admit, the guy is both a flake and a scam artist a lot of times. He's tried to sell fake guitars a lot of times to fans, claiming they're one thing when there's something else. He's sold tickets to personal appearances that he has never shown up for, tickets to concerts he's never shown up for. So when he recently announced that his birthday was coming up and he was doing a special VIP-only private show for his birthday. A lot of people, including myself, were thinking this was going to be the usual, oh, Vinny, come on, give us a break. We're not going to fall for that again. He's basically like the Charlie Brown, and Lucy football situation of rock and roll. It's like Vinny is Lucy putting the football down, and we are Charlie Brown saying, maybe this time he won't pull it away. Maybe this time we can actually run up and kick it and see a show. So we run, and Vinny pulls the football away. I'm not showing up, and there we go. This time for Vinny's, I don't know, I guess 60-something birthday. What was it? His 63rd? Do you know, Johnny?
I don't know how old he is, but yeah, he's got to be at least his early 60s, at least.
He's up there. He's up there. And Vinny said, if you show up this time, I will be there, and I will sign autographs. I will play. I will, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, sure. Well, as it turns out, this one time that everybody said, oh, he's not going to show up, including myself. I mean, I'm the first one to admit when I'm wrong, which happens a lot, and for many reasons. And Vinny basically said, yeah, I'm definitely going to show up. This is my birthday bash. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to play. And people said up and down, he's not going to show up. I gave a whole show on it, ranting, saying that Vinny wasn't going to show up. And lo and behold, for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, the guy fucking shows up. Now, mind you, I didn't go to this thing, okay? I love Vinny's playing, but, look, the typical thing is he never fucking shows up. So why in the world would I be the one to show up? So
would you have to travel for that? Or was that local?
If I knew that he was going to show up, no, it was, I think it was in Nashville, August 10th, Nashville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was going to show up. And lo and behold, he did show up. But I'll tell you one thing. There was, he supposedly showed up. He supposedly played a couple of songs. And he said, oh, everyone's having a great time. There's tons of people there. I don't know anyone who was there. And apparently there was some quick video thrown up on YouTube. Someone snuck a camera in because you weren't allowed to have cameras at this event. You weren't allowed to video Vinny playing and stuff like that. So I don't know why, if you're playing, he didn't want anyone to see it. But apparently there was a quick video someone shot of him playing something, and it was yanked down off of YouTube, and it's never been seen again. But this one photo did get snuck around the internet, and it did get released. I just want to see if you guys could see this. It's basically, from what I'm seeing, it's Vinny sitting there at a hotel. There you go. Can you see that? He's in the back of a very empty-looking venue. I don't see another soul there. And he's just sitting there alone. Do you see him at the table there?
Mm-hmm.
That's Vinnie Vincent. Do you see another soul? All those empty chairs? There's no one in the hallway. I mean, someone took a photo, but was this like...
Were they just walking by?
I don't know. I don't know. Were they like, is that, what's her name from Heart? But do you see, Vinny's sitting alone. I mean, he's just sitting alone at this, and there's the sign for the birthday bash. So it's there, there it is. Now, it's not exactly at the venue he promoted. He said it was at some particular club, but I'm seeing this is like in some hotel room, Stones River or something, whatever.
That's either a conference room or a ballroom. Yeah. Oh, it says Stones River.
Yeah.
Or
but
that could...
no mistake. There's some people online. I don't know what the deal is exactly. That said, Oh, no. It was exactly where he said it would be. And he played songs. And it was great. And everyone was taking autographs and stuff. But I have not seen one single person pop up any actual videos of this or anything. I have, like I said, I have seen a lot of people come up and say, hey, apparently Vinnie did it. Apparently Vinnie showed up and whatever.
When was this? Was it
like
recently?
Blank Palette says they kept them outside until they finished setting up. And that's possible. I mean, it's possible. And I'm not trying to rip on Vinnie. I know, Renus Pinkel said, are we ripping on Vinnie tonight? Look, I love Vinnie Vincent. I really, really, really do. What I don't love is when he doesn't show up to these things. But apparently this time he did. So if he did and people had a good time and got their money's worth, hey, great. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Vinnie. Because, I mean, every time the comeback train comes out of the station, Vinnie's not on it. And all the people that paid for tickets are never on the train either. And this time, apparently, though, he showed up. I don't know what the deal is. I'd love to see some video. If anyone has it, send it to me. Send it to my Facebook, Jonathan Mancuda. I'd love to see it. If anyone was there, please speak up, because I'd love to see it. But for some reason, I seem to just see Vinnie alone on his birthday, and it reminds me of that Brady Bunch where Peter Brady is just sitting there with a little hat and happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. No one's there.
Oh.
So
this was a week ago?
This was August 10th.
August 10th, 10 days ago.
A little over a week ago. And I'd love to to hear if anyone knows about this. What I was says he had a couple of cheap Jacksons painted pink signed on his website for $1,500 each. Now that sounds like Vinnie. That sounds more like the Vinnie we know and love that says, oh yeah, no, this was the very famous guitar I used to record Lick It Up. Didn't you sell like 30 of those already? Oh, no, this is the one. It was this one, I don't know.
I found that same picture.
And I'm curious. Supposedly he showed up. That I believe. I just don't know if anyone else showed up, if it was at the advertised venue. I'd love to know more details, but for some reason, he keeps kiboshing anyone trying to put video up or photos or what. But that's the only photo I see. Superfuzz asked, do I have any of Vinnie's old guitars? I don't, but they had a big auction at Julian's auction house like a couple of years ago of Vinnie's guitars. And the problem is, he said that he auctioned off his famous gold Jackson Rhodes that he said was, the original guitar he entered Kiss with. One that was made for Randy, and he later painted pink, and it was given to him by Grover Jackson because he wanted someone to have Randy's, guitar. And it isn't that guitar. It isn't the guitar. The guitar that was sold, I know for a fact. And anyone that wants to challenge me on this, I'm happy to. It was not the guitar that was sold as that guitar. I don't know what happened to that guitar. I don't have it. I don't have any of Vinnie's guitars. I'd love one if I knew it was a real one. And they did sell real ones at Julian's. There were ones I could screen match, and I could say, okay, this one was a photo guitar. I recognize that. But he always does this, and he's done it in the past before, and Paul Stanley and Gene have called him out on it. He's basically claimed that some guitars, this one is this guitar, and I sold it to a fan, and it's not. It's a fake. So while Julian's did sell most of his original guitars, I don't know what happened to the original gold one painted pink, but it's definitely not the one that was sold at Julian's that day for a large amount of money. So, and again, I have reasons to believe this, very much so, that I can, talk about. But Jim Nicholas brings up, I remember Vinny also used a red Charvel Strat during the Creatures tour. I don't remember that, but I believe it's possible because, look, if a guitar goes down, you'll go to Grover Jackson and say, hey, I need a fill-in guitar real quick. They'll send you something while yours is being repaired. But, like I said, the thing about Vinnie Vincent is he's a known habitual liar. And look, I love the Vinnie Vincent Invasion. I loved it. The first one, the second one, both of them, terrific. I love Kiss, huge Kiss fan. I love Kiss with Vinnie. I think Vinnie saved Kiss. I really do. With all that said, Vinnie has proven to just be a liar. I mean, he just, he lies, and he's screwed a lot of people out of a lot of money a lot of times. I'm building exclusive guitars. Give me deposit up front. Guitars never come through. I'm doing a concert. Give me money up front. Concert never comes through. This time, I will lick it up that I was wrong, that Vinnie didn't show up, and he apparently did. I still want to hear about it on video. I still want to see a few photos other than Vinnie sitting alone in a room.
I found some.
Fire away.
I found a few pictures. Okay.
I want to see what's there.
Okay. Well, first of all, this is somebody's account. Somebody that was there. I don't know if you saw this.
Is it Vinnie's mother?
Somebody named Mike.
Mike Hawk?
Mike.
Okay, Hawk. Is that his name?
Apparently, the fans who attended received a text around 6:30 p.m. and when we're told to make
giving your money back. Ha 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 ha.
They were told to make their way to SIR Studios, SIR Studios. When they arrived at SIR, they could hear guitar playing, and many assumed it was one of Vinnie's demos playing over the PA. It turns out that it was Vinnie himself playing electric guitar. Seems like he played for about 10 to 15 minutes before hanging out with the fans, signing stuff and telling stories. Early reports seem to say it was a small crowd, but that everyone had a great time.
When they say small, 2 to 3 people, or Vinnie, his handler, a parole officer, and who else?
Oh my goodness. Everyone had a great time. Let's see. This guy says he's seen 2 people who were there say, you can put to rest the rumors that Vinnie can't play anymore, is what they're saying. Seems like Vinnie hung out with the fans for about 6 hours, with the party wrapping up about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Vinnie was sleeping in a hammock as 2 people were circling him for an autograph.
It also seems that Vinnie
hanging.
It also seems that Vinnie supplied a nice spread of food for everyone. Picture added.
Bring in the 6-foot hero.
The guitar used in the. There's a Love Kills video. Love Kills. Is that one of the songs?
Love Kills is a song from the second album. That was a Vinnie song used on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, did he play Ibanez then?
No, he was playing the Jacksons then. He was playing the double cut Jackson Vinnie Vincent V's at that time. Jackson and Dorsey, and Mark Slaughter was on vocals for that.
Let's see. Well, here's some pictures. This is apparently it's an Ibanez. Right
it's
there.
Gotta be a later guitar. Unless he just had an Ibanez at the time. That's possible too. But he was a Jackson and Dorsey.
Looks like he was giving those away or selling those.
And selling them. He was cutting them in his garage.
There's the guitar.
He looks so pretty. I've never wanted to fuck a mouth more than Vinnie's right now.
And that's the
Now
guitar.
that's a double Jackson. It looks like, or is that an Ibanez?
Says Ibanez.
Is
And
it a
then
double V?
and there's the same picture that you.
Yeah, that
you
one.
have.
Yeah. I don't know. Those pictures don't blend in though. Why don't they mesh together? Because
Well,
first of all, that's a hotel. That's not Sir Studios. At least the first photo.
that first one is a hotel. These other ones of him hanging out, it looks like that could be the studio.
Okay. Superfuzz is asking, is Vinny transitioning? If Vinny is transitioning, it's very possible. But either way, you know, give him his freedom. Give him his respect to be whatever he wants to be. You know, I love the guy as an artist. I don't love him as a scam artist, but I love him as a musical artist. So as a person, if he is transitioning, which it's very possible. I mean, my personal vote would say yes, but you know what? I'm a gay rights advocate. So I support whatever someone wants to do because that's what makes this country great. Because I have family that's been military. I have friends that have lost their lives in the military. And what they fight for is freedom. Freedom, right? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. What people want to do on their own, they do on their own. And you know, that's just it. So, but that's my simple answer. Renus Pinkle wants to know how his moose knuckle looks, though.
I don't know.
So what was he doing? He was saying he was selling that guitar. What was he saying?
What did that? Oh, I closed it.
Was he saying that was the guitar used in the Love Kills video?
In the text, it was saying that the guitar pictured was the guitar used in the Love Kills video.
That's very possible.
And it's an Ibanez.
It's possible. Like I said, I know he was endorsed by Jackson then. I know live he was playing double V's. I know Jackson was selling Vinnie Vincent versions. I'm all cool with that. It is possible that that particular guitar was played in the Love Kills video. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if he, you know, I know he kept a couple of guitars back because, like I said, even though Julian's and him claim to have both sold his most famous guitar, it's not there. That wasn't it. You can fool some of the people. You can't fool Mancuda. Not on that, buddy. So I don't know where that guitar is. Maybe sitting in his bedroom, under his bed, hiding, never to be seen by people. But if that Ibanez was played in that video, okay, you know, then he held that one back. That's cool. Very, 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 very possible. I'd have to watch the video. I just know there was a V in there. I assumed it was one of his endorsee Jacksons, but maybe it was that Ibanez V. That's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Nicholas wants to know, did he play Carvins too? I want to think he did. For some reason, I thought, here's the problem. It's very hard to keep up with Vinny because Vinny has had so many guitar makers building special editions to resell, and then Vinny backs out of it. So like he's hopped from like a couple of different companies with that. And yo, Zach Thong, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm not the biggest Kiss fan in the world. I mean, I like them, but I don't know. I don't know all their history. You know,
their history.
Their Kiss. That's right. Their history. Their
now,
history.
I'm a huge Kiss fan. Go ahead, Johnny.
So with Vinnie Vincent though, is this his first time, like really like that birthday or whatever? Does it seem was he out of was he? Well, I don't want to say hiding, but was he just like not doing anything for like years and years and years?
Okay, so here's the thing with Vinny. Vinny basically, he came on at an audition. Well, a little earlier, he basically did a little studio work with Paul Stanley early on. This is when Ace is gone, and they're looking for a guitar player. So he's basically like writing like 3 songs, I think, on Creatures of the Night, I believe, with Paul. And, you know, there's something about him. Paul's like a little shaky on him, and they're still auditioning guitar players. And everybody and their mother's showing up. I mean, Doug Aldrich is showing up, and I'm just trying to remember even so many people that were considered for the job. I think from Night Ranger, what's his name? Brad Gillis, I think, wanted the gig. And there were, I just remember like everyone and their mother was secretly auditioning at one point or another for Ace's slot when it was quietly leaking out that Ace was being fired from Kiss. So meanwhile,
and what year was this? What year would this have been?
I want to say 79, maybe somewhere around there. Like I think it was 79. I could be wrong, but I think it was 79, maybe 1980. Like right around. Let's see, Creatures of the Night, and I think Unmasked came first, and then Creatures. I'm trying to remember the order. It was like something like I think The Elder, and then Unmasked, and then Creatures, something like that. But it was basically Creatures of the Night is the album they were working on, because initially the release of Creatures of the Night had all the traditional Kiss faces on there, as far as it had Ace's face on there. People weren't letting the public yet know that Ace had left Kiss or been fired from Kiss. But, you know, the later printings, they had Vinnie's face on there. So, you know, the cover to Creatures of the Night, there's 2 covers.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. So Vinnie was helping Paul write songs and talk in the studio, you know, about, you know, what direction Kiss is going. And, you know, we're looking for guitarists. We're kind of looking for, you know, an unknown right now. And to that effect. And Vinnie's, you know, sitting there like he wants the gig. And guys are coming in, and someone said to him, like, hey, you know, Paul, what about, I think it was Bob Kulick, Bruce Kulick's brother, who was a well-known Kiss writer and studio player and a friend of Paul's. And he said, hey, what about this guy that you're writing with? I mean, is he a good guitarist? And Paul's like, yeah, he's a great guitarist. It's like, well, why don't you audition him? And he's like, there's just something about him, the vibe, I don't know, just something about him. It's not, you know, not gelling. But, you know, that was basically where it was that he came in. And then finally he auditioned, and they basically decided to go with him, even though I think it was either Paul or Gene voiced that he has a reservation about it. Someone had instinct enough to voice that he had some reservations about it, either Paul or Gene. And they went with him anyway. So he's touring and stuff, and, you know, they were, and Super Fuzz is right, by the way. They were working with Doug Aldrich before they finally, because they thought they were going to go with Doug Aldrich, and they finally made a decision on Vinnie. But yeah, Doug was definitely in there, you know, doing studio work a little bit. And, you know, rumor has it that Eddie Van Halen also wanted to join Kiss, because he was having, even then, early problems with Roth. And there's 2 sides to that story. I've heard both sides. Do I believe it? It's possible. I think from putting those 2 stories together, the gist I got was that Gene Simmons kind of talked to Eddie and said, you know what? You've got your own thing going, and that's going good. You should really stick with staying with the Van Halen thing rather than jumping into Kiss. And I love you, and you're great. You know, and they kind of wanted someone that was doing that sort of super strat shredding like Eddie, but not specifically Eddie. Someone a little less known that wouldn't dominate the personality of the band was really what they were looking for. You know, someone like a Doug Aldrich or a Vinnie Vincent that, you know, you didn't know that much about at the time.
I think an Eddie Van Halen guitar style might be a little too much for Kiss. You know, or at least early on, maybe. I think some of their later stuff they had some of the shredding and stuff, but you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But you know what it is? They saw the writing on the wall because they just had a hit in the disco era. I was made for you. I was made for loving you.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one?
Yeah, it's a Desmond Child.
Yeah.
That was in the Brooke Shields Endless Love. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So, you know, they had been losing their rock base a little bit, you know, between the failure of the Elder album and the disco hit. A lot of people thought they sold out. So they were seeing the writing on the wall that someone like Eddie was doing such a great job of, you know, changing the genre of music with the shredding and the tapping. And, you know, they saw a little writing on the wall. They had to kind of revamp a little bit. You know, maybe it was time with the new, you know, the 80s coming around. Maybe it was time to lose the makeup, or was it, you know, but they needed some change. So they wanted a better guitar player, faster guitar player. The problem was they didn't want someone exactly like Van Halen, because then he would dominate basically what Paul and Gene had considered their baby, you know? They didn't want to be outshined by a shredder like that. So Vinnie was really good, but they didn't feel he personality-wise gel, but they kind of went with it just on ability, you know? And his writing was fantastic. So if you listen to Creatures of the Night, if you're a Kiss fan, even if you're not, and you just like good hard rock, that was a really good album. And it came after some mediocre, you know, Kiss albums and a disco song and an absolute failed concept album. So it was really the right time to kind of, you know, throw a life preserver back to Kiss and bring them, you know, floating back up to, you know, we're hungry again, you know? So that was that. But eventually, after a certain amount of time, I think it was after the Lick It Up album, you know, touring, there was infighting. Vinnie was getting these longer and longer, intricate, crazy solos that Paul was really not happy with. And at one point, he just literally, in the middle of a solo on a live show, literally just cut him off in the middle of his solo. Vinnie Vincent, everyone. And that was it. And Vinnie just whispered to him. And yeah, Vinnie whispered to him. He's like, "You asshole, you embarrassed me. What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "Keep talking to me like that. I will lay you out right here. Just take a swing at me." I mean, it got that bad.
Is there a professional? Is there professional footage of that?
Not well. There might be. There might be, because a lot of those shows, man. And again, remember, that was just whispered between them. You didn't hear that. What you heard was the guitar solo going on and Paul Stanley coming out in the middle of it. "Vinnie Vincent, everyone," and then going into a song. And you know, Paul and Vinnie just had a little whisper. You know, and Vinnie, "I should kill you for that." "Yeah, go on, take a swing. I will lay you out." You know, that was just like, you know, little whisper talk. But Paul quotes that in his book, in his new book. Paul tells that story. But I'd heard that before. Anyway, the infighting was getting crazy. Vinnie just didn't gel with the band. You know, he was grandstanding, and you know, they just didn't get along. And eventually, he was let go from Kiss. Formed Vinnie Vincent Invasion. Vinnie Vincent Invasion. I think Rob Fleischman was the first vocalist there, and it was a tremendous album. Tremendous album. If you guys know that first Vinnie Vincent Invasion, it was a really, really well-written album because, again, Vinnie can write, and it was a good guitar album because Vinnie can play. Yes, the solos were really, really long, but if you just keep past the grandstanding, it was a very melodic, really good album. But then Vinnie and Robert Fleischman butted heads. Exit Robert Fleischman. Now, Vinnie Vincent Invasion, All Systems Go comes back with a second album. They get Mark Slaughter and Dana Strum on bass. Great album. Love Kills, the video we were just talking about, that was for Nightmare on Elm Street. So that was a really, really great
Okay.
that.
Okay.
You know, it was a really, really, you know, good band. And again, there goes Vinnie being Vinnie, pisses off who he works with. Mark Slaughter and Dana Strum, and I think it was Bobby Rock, I think, was the drummer maybe. But they basically leave, and they go form Slaughter. And Vinny's left out in the cold. So now you don't see a lot of Vinny in the coming years. Where is Vinny? Where is Vinny? Is he going to come out with another project, another new singer? Where is he? Goes through the 80s, no more Vinny. Goes into the 90s, no more Vinny. Eventually, it just became one of those where are they now things where you never saw what happened to Vinny. You never heard about him until out of the blue, a police report hits the news, and this was somewhere in the early 2000s, I want to say. I forget exactly. Someone in the chat probably remembers. But basically, former Kiss guitarist Vinnie Vincent, or Vincent Cusano, as his real name is, something happened, some domestic dispute where his house is raided, and they find all of these dead dogs in these plastic bins, stuffed in freezers. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but everyone first noticed, holy shit, Vinny looks like a woman. He looks like, what's her name from Heart and whatever it is. What's the woman from Heart?
Wilson.
And Wilson. Thank you. Everyone's noticing, holy shit, Vinny looks like a woman. I mean, he looks like a really, really, crazy, crazy woman. And, the mug shots out and what's with these frozen dogs. And he says, these were stray dogs I took in. Eventually they died, but I couldn't bury them because the ground was so frozen. It's winter. And I just put them in there so they didn't rot away in my house. And, Superfuzz brings up that Bobby Rock wrote a great biography, tons of detail on Vinnie Vincent. I'd love to get a copy of that at some point. Thank you for mentioning that. And thank you, Amanda Coombs, for bringing up Ann Wilson. Anyway, Vinnie Vincent did not play at the MTV Unplugged gig. Not to my knowledge. I don't think he did. But
I don't think so.
Long story short, that comes out, and people decide to say, hey, it's like a Vinny resurgence. What's been going on with him? What happened to him? Is he transitioning? What happened? And people go basically to the last people he worked with, which is Mark Slaughter and Dana Strum, who for years have said Vinny's a nightmare, he's an asshole to work with, blah, blah, blah. And years later, to this day, Mark Slaughter will not forgive Vinnie Vincent. It's that much animosity. And Mark is such a nice guy. He's such a good-hearted guy, very normal, down to earth. You would never imagine Mark being mad at someone in general, much less 30 years. He hates Vinny. There's so much bad blood there. And again, Paul and Gene, again, still have no kind words to say for him. I mean, Gene made a little amends with him so that he could get some of his music in the, the GeneSimmonsVaults.com. That big Kiss Vault package in a real safe.
Did you get one of those?
No. I'd sooner drop it on my head like Wile E. Coyote. I love Kiss. I love Gene. Marketing genius, pardon the pun, but I'm not getting some damn fucking safe. I'll get the, if he sold the CDs separately, sure, but.
Oh, man. Yeah, because there were those 2 or 3 Van Halen demos on there.
Yeah, and of course you had to go with Eddie to that.
Nobody's heard those,
Yeah, and the thing is, he's had a lot of people hate him. I, as a fan of his work, love his work, but again, so many times since his resurgence in that mug shot for that that dead dog thing, everyone, what happened to him? And then he goes underground again. Now you haven't seen him for years and years and years and years, and he shows up at a Kiss convention. That basically Vinnie Vincent pops up, and he gets so much love again. a lot of speculation. Is he transitioning? Is he transitioning? No one wants to actually ask him because that's his business. And everyone, I'm glad everyone's pretty respectful of that, to not bother him directly. I mean, I know there's jokes flying all over the place, but people are just asking, what are your plans now? What are your plans for music? What are your plans? Are you going to keep doing more conventions? Are you going to go do shows? And he says, well, Robert Fleischman and I have been talking. I think we're going to do an album together again. We made amends. Well, and this was recently. This was like in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
Fleischman basically said, I'm not working with. I mean, he started to say, yeah, I'm all gung-ho. And then apparently they tried to get together and Fleischman just said, no more. I'm not going with that. Let's see. Blank Palette says, John, by the way, John is Jon. What do you think of Holworth? He got mad at me for saying he sucked. Alan Holdsworth? Is that what you mean? I don't know if that's what you mean.
And who got mad at you? He got mad at you for that? What?
Huh?
I don't know. I
he's saying someone got mad at him for saying he sucked. I think Alan Holdsworth sucked. I don't know. But anyway, long story short, here's the thing. Vinny's been in the public eye again lately. He said he was doing a couple of appearances. He didn't show. He said he was doing a couple of concerts. He didn't show. And apparently this one time during this little birthday event, he apparently finally showed up. Now, again, I believe he showed up. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why there's not video of him playing. I'd love to see video of him playing. I'm sure he still can play. I mean, you got guys like that haven't played in years popping out of the woodwork. Take Jakey Lee. Jake's still incredible. Incredible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, he's a little rusty. Hasn't played in 30 years. But he's great. He's terrific. So I believe that someone as good as Vinny is still able to play. So, but who knows what'll happen next in the Vinnie Vincent saga. I just wanted to say to everyone, I was wrong. Vinny showed up. He played again. Supposedly he played 10 minutes of songs. I would have loved to have seen it. I guess 3 songs or 4 songs, whatever. I would have loved to have seen it. Would have loved to have been there, but I don't know. Something's still fishy to me that I'm not seeing video, that I'm not seeing more than a little shady photo or two. I would think there would be more. You know what I'm saying, Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree?
I saw a few things on Instagram. That's the stuff that I read. I would think. I mean, we just had Summer NAMM. Just what was that? 3 weeks ago?
Summer NAMM, yeah.
Summer NAMM, yeah. Well, I guess this was for his birthday. When was his birthday? Was it actually on that day? Was that his actual birthday?
Supposedly, yeah.
Because I would think if he's in Nashville, he would try to tie that into being closer to like Summer NAMM, because there might be more. That might get more people, over there, to both events.
Right.
People that are into his into him.
So to speak. not into him, but it's into. But yeah, okay. Let's turn the corner. Let's move on from Vinny. We got the idea, and look, we wish the guy well. We would love to see new music out of him. Let's see what the future brings. Krell bar.
Wow.
I'm not gonna repeat. Yeah, no.
Well, somebody allowed that.
Time for the first guitar. Time for me to show off the first.
Ready for a guitar? Are we ready?
All right.
Can we get 2 more thumbs ups?
So I'm gonna bring out the first guitar. First guitar. Also,
you guys remember, by typing in the chat !CLIP clip, you can record like the previous 90 seconds or previous minute. Like right after you type that, it goes back and it records it. It'll give you a link, and that way you can have your own favorite part of the program.
Which is basically us when we say goodnight, probably.
At the very end.
Yeah, and if you put exclamation point clit, I show my vagina. So,
gross.
you've never seen it. What do you mean gross? Well, you have on your birthday.
On my birthday, I saw it.
No, Crowbar, it's not controversial. I just want to get off Vinny, so to speak.
Phil, yeah, those things, they last forever, man.
But I love your comment, Crowbar. It's funny as fuck. Okay, so for those of you guys that know me, I love flashy 80s guitars. I try to bring one onto the show every week. Every Tuesday, I have show and tell. Today, because we're short-handed with hosts, I felt I should bring two on. So here's the first of two. This is a lovely, lovely. Let's see, what year would this be? This is probably, let's see, so this is probably around 1985 or 6. It was around 85 or 86. It's a Jackson soloist. And what's great about this one, a lot of you guys are Jackson fans. I am too. You know, the San Dimas Jacksons were the most solid freaking guitars on the planet. These things were made so well. If you pick up a Jackson from, you know, various years, it's a good guitar. They've had great periods, and, you know, but you go into Guitar Center today, and for the most part, it's not great stuff, unless you're getting custom shop stuff. This was back then in the early 80s or mid 80s when Grover Jackson was standing over your workbench and yelling at you if he didn't see something he liked. If you dropped a screw on the floor, he'd be like, pick up that fucking screw. That's my nickel. Pick up that fucking screw. This is a guy that was like the Sam Breakstone of fucking guitar making. If you weren't doing the right thing by Grover Jackson, he would take a bandsaw to your fucking guitar. So today, a San Dimas Jackson at the peak of when they made them, and holy fuck, look at the finish on this damn thing. Gold sparkle Bengal. Look at that.
Oh, look at that, man.
Yeah. Not just gold, but literal glitter. I mean, just, you know, get
oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
That's cool.
That's heavy, heavy metal flake. Now, normally they did bangles, but they didn't usually do it with metal flake. They did like a solid color, and then they did a bangle. And again, neck through, solid as a rock on this thing. The classic pointed Jackson headstock. And look at the ebony on this thing. Black as pitch. This is when you could still get really, really, really black ebony back in the 80s. You know, nowadays ebony is streaked because it's taken from different trees and whatever to conserve, and that's great and all. But fuck hell, look at this thing. This is when guitars were really, really, really built to rock, built to last, built to snap over the head of your bass player that you hate. I mean, this thing's rock solid. I mean, when you play this thing, you can feel how solid this is. You know? James Severin says it's gay. Dude, I'm wearing a pink scarf. This is the 80s, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, no, it would be cool if they did the bangle around the back, but they never really did. But you know, something like this. And again, let's see, what do we got here? This is a Seymour Duncan, probably a JB, single coils that I never use. And look at this, kids. A real Floyd Rose, just the way it should be. And remember, a lot of Jacksons back at that time had Kahlers, which I'm fine with Kahlers. You know, I'm very versatile in that way. I can play a Kahler as well. But a lot of people like a Floyd. And if you'll notice, this is a non-recessed Floyd, which a lot of people like from back then. I mean, I'm fine with a recessed Floyd. I don't mind. But some people are like really particular about it, and they prefer a non-recessed Floyd. Here it is. Non-recessed Floyd original. And this thing doesn't have a mark on it. I mean, I'm sure I'll fucking drop it within the minute. But, you know, you could just see that this is like a true rocker's guitar. And even back then, these things would cost a lot of money. You know, I remember going to 48th Street guitar, you know, stores and you know, places like Manny's Music and 48th Street Custom and, you know, all the cool guitar stores back in New York City back in the day. And, you know, I'd stare at these walls of these things and, dude, it was like, you know, they were expensive, you know, especially for, you know, for a kid. But like for glam rock, man, I mean, how much more can you get than a Sparkle Bengal, you know? And again, you have pickup selectors and switches, you know, for coil splitting, volume knob, tone knob. But if you get a chance to play an old San Dimas Jackson, they're phenomenal. Jim Nicholas wants to know, were all 80s soloists neck through body type? The thing about a soloist was, what made it a soloist was, it was the neck through guitar. This was your neck through Super Strat. They also did a guitar called the Dinky, which was a slightly smaller body than this, just a little bit smaller. That was a bolt-on. And you can get, you know, usually a maple neck or whatever. But most of these guys, almost all of them, were either rosewood or ebony. And, you know, you got the shark inlays and whatnot. So, you know, Joe Hervey, you bet it plays nice. Because, again, these old Jacksons are solid like a rock. And, you know, when you play something like a JB through this, you know, the sustain is great. And, you know, again, nice binding and everything. The fit and finish on these is everything. And in '86, they moved what was basically Jackson and Charvel were two separate companies, belonged, you know, two separate brands under the same ownership, under Grover Jackson. In '86, Charvel, at the end of '86, Charvel, they broke off and made just imports because that was basically a bolt-on guitar company, and they made imports now. So they started the Charvel model series. And they went with that as to where Jackson, which was always the neck through line, now started being Jackson Charvel, and they started offering the Dinky so that they had a bolt-on Super Strat as well under the Jackson name, you know. And again, think of something like this, you know, a Jackson Rhodes, stuff like that, you know, again, neck through stuff. But now you had the Soloist, which was neck through Super Strat. You had the Dinky, which is your bolt-on Super Strat. You had your Rhodes, you know, and then again, you had other, you know, guitars coming on. Brett McCord wants to know, was the Dinky called the 3/4 scale? I'm not sure exactly of the scale, bro. I'm sorry. But it was definitely smaller, and it was definitely a smaller body, hence the name Dinky. But you know, you had the you know, the other obscure models of Jackson. You know, they brought on the Warrior later on. They brought on you know, all the signature odd bodies. You know, and again, Vinnie Vincent had the double V and whatnot. But your three main bread and butter guitars were the Jackson Rhodes, which was, you know, the offset V, which was really your first Jackson branded guitar. Then came the Soloist. Then you got the Dinky and the, you know, the other more obscure ones. And, you know, when they started these in San Dimas, that was your original company. That was pretty much the peak period of Jackson and Charvel. When they moved and they sold off Charvel to imports, and they were making Jacksons at a different factory in Ontario, California, at that point, the quality went down just a little bit. There was still great, great guitars, make no mistake. But there was a difference. I can feel, and you can feel it too, a slight difference, and you Jackson owners know what I'm talking about. The San Dimas, right up here quality-wise. The Ontario, it lost a little something, but they were still really good USA-made guitars. Later on, it's hit or miss, you know. Let's see. Mike Neese asks, the good Jacksons were about 1,500 on up at the time, if I remember right. Yes. And that's why, you know, again, super guitars like that and good Charvels and good BC Rich, you know, luckily they had other levels of guitar. You could go on entry-level guitars. You could go on imports and Charvel Model Series. BC Rich had the NJ Series, which, you know, was a Japanese guitar. And but for the USA handmades like this, and these were made by hand, you know, you got to realize they were, you know, $1,800, $2,000. And this is, you know, at a time when you could buy like, you know, a pre-CBS Fender for probably about that. So it was a lot of money, man. But there you go. There's your little history lesson. And San Dimas, Jackson Soloist, 1985 or 86. I think late 85 or early 86. And there you go, man. That's your first of two guitars today. So I hope you guys dig that.
Wow. Awesome. That's very cool.
Let's see. Jasco Plumbing is going to go find and buy one online right now. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you guys did this one. Again, I got one more cool guitar to show you guys later.
Wow, that's a finish, man.
Yeah, that's a neat one. That's a neat one. I'm glad you guys dig it. Hey, so real quick, who has heard anything of the new Sammy Hagar album? Or is it The Circle or is it Sammy?
It's the Circle.
Okay.
The Circle. What's it called?
Something about outer space or something?
I don't even know what it's called, but yeah, it's the first. Well, actually, they put out a live record, like maybe a couple years ago. Couple years ago, they put out a live. No, it's been a while. It's been a little while, but
Okay.
this is their first studio record, and it's him, Vic Johnson, Michael Anthony, and Jason Bonham.
Okay. I heard one track from it, and it sounded really fucking great. Sammy, let me tell you something. I don't know what Sammy is. He's either immortal or a vampire or whatever he is. He's just so fucking good. I mean, he looks amazing. I mean, the guy's got an incredible head of hair. He's got a great voice. He's still a great guitar player. And he's just got a kick-ass attitude. I mean, he's like the epitome of cool. And I don't know how he stays so young. I don't. Tequila? A lot of tequila?
I wouldn't touch that stuff myself. But
Matt Stewart says it's a concept album. Is that true?
I think so.
I heard something like that a while back.
Yeah. Space Between. Space Between.
My ears.
That's what John BL is saying.
Space Between.
I know they played on Howard Stern. I'm sure you heard that or you saw it.
I heard a cut from the lead track, and I thought it was terrific. And yeah, 72 years old. Holy fuck. I want to look like that when I'm 72. I want to look like that now.
If that's 72, you know,
Dude, I'm looking
we
forward to
can't
these
wait.
if I'm like Sammy. But dude, he's terrific. And this is interesting. This is a topic I was going to bring in later, but we could touch it now as well. Someone brought up Ronnie James Dio as a hologram, and I haven't seen it. I'm gonna look for it on the internet now that I've heard about it. I only heard people talking about it today casually, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna bring that up as a topic on the show." And they were talking about, for those of you that don't know, Ronnie James Dio, original singer of Black Sabbath, original singer of Rainbow, original singer of Dio, the guy that gave you these devil horns. Masterful fucking singer, masterful writer. Rest in peace, he passed away. They're doing a concert, or they're doing a tour, a full tour of the band with him singing still using hologram technology. So you will, and again, I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard very mixed things. But using hologram technology, the live band comes on. I'm not sure who's in it. Is it Craig Goldie again?
I don't know. Are they all holograms?
No. The rest of the band had Jem and the Hologram.
Well, the holograms weren't even holograms. Jem wasn't even a hologram.
Yeah. No, basically, it's the live band. It's the live band. Like one of his former guitarists, I thought it was Craig Goldie. Maybe it's Vinnie Campbell. Do you guys know in the chat? But
sure, somebody knows. John BL.
Someone will know in the chat, or someone could look it up real quick. But basically, it's his band playing, and technology-wise, he is on stage. You see him singing as a hologram. And some people say it looks awesome, and some people say it's a wild feel. Krellbar says he believes it's Craig Goldie. I thought it was Craig Goldie too. And
where do they get the footage? Is it like professional footage of him that they've cropped him out of, and just have the image of him on the stage from some pro shot home video that everybody has? Or
I mean, I'm thinking if it's what I'm thinking, it's probably, the same technology they used to like computer generate like
or CGI
after she passed away. If you saw the end of
Actually,
Star Wars Rogue One.
She was still alive then. She was still alive when they did that. But
she was dead, or she was older. I think she was dead at the time. when they did the end of Rogue One.
No, she was still alive then. I think. I think she was.
I thought she passed away.
But
I should know this. I knew her. I should know this.
But you knew her?
I've met her a bunch of times. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I am friends with the family, with the Reynolds family, Debbie Reynolds family.
Okay.
Fisher, Carrie Fisher. I know those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Todd. Carrie and Debbie died, but I did know them. I still know Todd. But the bottom line was, that wasn't her at the end of Rogue One. It was computer generated, and it looked fantastic.
Well, plus it was computer It was a computer generated image of her from 1976. You know, is what it was.
Looked like back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the technology.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, you look on stage and there's a hologram, and again, I don't know if it's thousands of hours of chopped up footage to make him as realistic as possible, but God bless them for doing that, because I miss him terribly, and I think he was an incredible talent. And they're talking. Gary Thallander just pointed out in the chat that they're saying Ahmet Zappa is planning a tour with Dweezil Zappa using Frank Zappa's hologram. I would love to see that. And Eduardo Moreno Porto brings up, Dio's hologram band consists of guitarist Craig Goldie, drummer Simon Wright, keyboardist Scott Warren, and bassist Bjorn England. So there's a real band, guys. This is Dio's real band. And apparently it works. Apparently it looks like Dio's on stage singing. I mean, obviously, some people are saying it's a little video game-ish, but hey, listen, when it's Dio, the legendary Ronnie James Dio, last in line Dio, man on the Silver Mountain Dio, I will absolutely take any Dio I can get. So I think that's terrific. I would love to see that show if it's coming around to Los Angeles. And let's see. There was a question. Sorry, real quick. Just because I know you asked it twice. And John BL 5150 corrected me. She did die after Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Someone asked me. Okay, Joe Hervey 84 asks, do I know Logan Paul? I do not. Happy to meet him. Yeah. Fruitcake Tony says Vivian Campbell on guitar, Phil Susan on bass. Are they switching out guitar players depending on the area? Because I do remember there was something where Vivian was playing with Ronnie's band at one point. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
There was something like after he passed away, he was playing like in a tribute band to Ronnie. This was before the hologram thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew Craig Goldie was playing. Let's see. Claude G says, definitely video game-ish. Just watched a video. He looks like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings with hair. Oh, come on, man. It's Ronnie James Dio.
Oh.
Come on.
John BL, if you can find that footage, put it in the Discord, please.
Supposedly the tour will also feature guitar guest vocalist Tim Ripper Owens. That's interesting. No, I didn't work with him. Thank you. And yes, I did help with the Debbie Reynolds auctions. Yes. As seen on Hollywood Treasure. If you guys used to watch that show. Sean Zimmerman, I showed off one of two guitars I'm showing today. I do have another one left. And it's kind of a request. So let's see.
We might need some thumbs ups.
We would love some thumbs up today. We're winging it solo. We're down half our staff. Come on. The dog PA saw Dio with Elf and said he'd never be able to unsee that disaster. The thing about Elf was, this was an early incarnation for Dio. So you got to cut the guy some slack. I think he was like finding his own footing with that. So I can't speak on it. I've never seen Elf live, to be fair. Let's see. Def Leppard's Vivian Campbell says his last in line tribute band to Dio is helping him make peace with his former bandmate Ronnie. So he's in, I guess, a different Dio tribute band. Let's see. And Brett McCord says he thinks the old Holy Diver crew played together with Vivian for that band. Yeah, I mean, look, I haven't seen it. I'm just amazed that there's technology to keep guys like that even into a position of singing. I think it's cool. I mean, again, what's the difference, you might ask, between Paul Stanley playing, mouthing to a backing track at a concert and me going to see a Dio hologram? Well, the difference is Ronnie's passed away. So we don't have that chance, to see Ronnie good, bad, or ugly vocally. And Paul, look, I'm a big Kiss fan. If Paul, can't hit all these notes, I mean, the guy's, he's up there in age, man, and he's still rocking the way he does. I got to give the guy credit. I have to say that, look, I'm not happy that you have backing vocals. I'd love to hear you good, bad, or ugly the way you are, especially on a farewell tour. But look, you want a little assistance? I'll take Viagra today, and you do backing tracks, and we'll each have a little assistance. Sean Zimmerman, you can always watch the rerun if you missed the first guitar I showed. Let's see. But real quick, just for Sean Zimmerman, since he joined us late, just real quick. Jackson Soloist, 85, 86. Gold Sparkle, Bengal Tiger, Neck Through, San Dimas Made, Kicks Ass. Okay. And don't be late again.
Anybody else miss it?
Blank Palette says, I went to watch Dio and was hoping for Vivian Campbell, and holy fuck, it was Craig Goldie. I was really pissed, but I got to see Black Sabbath with Dio during the Heaven and Hell tour, and that was great too, man. I mean, look, there's so many periods of Dio that, you know, you could say were great. You know, some people are big fans of the Sabbath. You know, Mob Rules was an incredible song. And, you know, Man on the Silver Mountain when he was doing Rainbow. And, I mean, you know, one of my first records ever was Last in Line, which, holy fuck, that high note that he hits, you know, when he hits, we are coming, and then he just launches, you know, it's like, that was a great fucking record, you know, and love certain periods of them, hate certain periods of them. If you do this, you owe a debt to Ronnie James Dio. That's all I got to say. And I love his stuff. Let's see.
Awesome.
We're talking in the chat. What kind of stuff did Slash and his ex-wife sell in the auction that ended yesterday? Fruitcake Tony wants to know. Switching gears. Slash didn't really sell anything interesting. I mean, it was like kind of a garage sale. I mean, I think they had like, you know, recently like a couple of you know, newer guitars or signature guitars. Nothing really that he was like playing and involved with like some earlier auctions that he sold off. But, you know, memorabilia, you know, picks. Let's see, what was it? I looked at that auction. They were selling guitar picks. They were selling, you know, signed things, but nothing like, you know, a Slash Les Paul that he used to record, blah, blah, blah. It was just a little memorabilia, merch, stuff like that. You didn't miss anything interesting. Let's see.
Was it at his house or something?
No, they had I think it was Julian's auction house had a some kind of celebrity, or it wasn't a rock and roll auction. It was like a Hollywood, like a celebrity auction. Like you had some stuff from Kiss, you had some stuff from Slash, but then you had some stuff from, you know, some movie stars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, Joe Hervey says, do I take guitar lessons? I've thought about maybe some kind of Skype lessons, etc. I've told this story before. I stopped playing for about 20 years guitar after I started it because I just hated the music scene. And, you know, so, you know, all my friends right now are like, you know, doing shredding arpeggios. And I'm like, I'm a terrible player. I mean, I play every day, but it's terrible. Johnny like rocks the shit out of me. For Dave, Jay, they're all three of them are way better guitar players than I am because I missed what should have been 20 years of practice. With that said, obviously, you know, a billion years ago, I did take lessons when I started. And nowadays, sure, I look on YouTube and I see stuff, and I'll go on a YouTube video and, you know, learn a song or something, or, you know, I'll use tab, old school tab in old magazines I have to like pick out stuff. But look, man, every day, the one thing I have learned, every day, pick up a guitar. Every day, play something. Whether it's scales, whether it's parts of songs you know, whether it's sitting there figuring out a riff, whatever it is, the more you play, the better you're gonna get. It's that simple. And if you basically want to learn something or memorize something, play it slow as molasses. Just play it over and over, slow as molasses, and let your muscles learn that specific piece, that specific shape. Just that muscle memory will kick in the more you do it. but start it slow as molasses and get that accuracy onto your fingers so that your muscles are just instinctively going here, 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 here on a fretboard. But always, take whatever lessons you can. Always be learning. Randy Rhoads, arguably one of the greatest guitarists ever, was always taking lessons. Whatever town he went into, he went to a music store and took a lesson, because everyone can teach you something different. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you come over to my house tomorrow, I'll teach you the Flintstones theme like nobody can play it except Andy Timmons. That's where I live. But just to give you an idea, always be learning. Always take a lesson, whatever it is. If it's on Skype, great. If it's in person, great. If it's learning tab or YouTube video, great, great, great. Always be playing. If Randy can learn something every day, you can learn something every day.
Mm-hmm. And you want to keep it up too. Not just, I mean, yeah, it's great to learn new things, but like you don't want to forget anything either. You know, you just always want to be moving. You know, but as far as like your guitar collection and stuff, like, were you collecting guitars all those years?
No, when I first started learning guitar, and this is dating back to the late 80s, I had, I think, maybe 8 guitars at the time, which was a good amount. That was a good amount, but and this was like from my first guitar I bought in '88. And my last guitar, I bought probably in '92. And, it was right when Nirvana started fucking up the scene. I wasn't inspired to play because the musical scene was changing so much, and I just didn't have interest in it. And I literally took those 8 guitars and just put them, sealed the cases, put them in my bedroom closet at my parents' house, and didn't touch them for a billion years until I was in Hawaii, living in Hawaii for a year. This was when I was on Lost. For those that don't know, I'm an actor. I was on the TV show Lost for a year. And at the time, you had downtime. If you weren't on the next episode, you had 2 weeks of filming in Hawaii that you had to find things to do. And for those of you that have been to Hawaii, really the only thing to do once you've lived there for a certain amount of time and get to know the local areas, as beautiful as it is, it's really go to the beach and surf. And right. I'm a klutzy Jew, and I don't surf. So I'm thinking, I read all the comic books in the room. And, this is the hotel that ABC rented for me. And I'm thinking, I read all the comic books in the room. I don't want to go to the beach and surf. Other friends of mine are on set today or this whole week or two. What am I going to do for the next 2 weeks? And I thought about it. I said, I really should pick up a guitar again. I wish I had one of my guitars with me. So I thought about like sending to my parents' house a note, hey, ship me one of my guitars. But then I'm like, well, it's so sentimental to me. What if something happens and, whatever. So I just went on eBay and I bought a BC Rich Warlock in pink snakeskin because, pink.
Yeah.
Got it. And I basically bought a guitar for Hawaii to see how I felt about playing guitar again. And I started like getting a feel for it. And again, I was never a good player, but even with that, I was rusty as shit. But, I remembered certain chords and, certain melodies and stuff and parts of songs. And I was like, holy shit, why did I ever put this down? I love this instrument. And it just like all came rushing back to me that I had like stopped practicing for like, 20 years. And I really shouldn't have, You
mean like you didn't even touch a guitar for 20 years?
I literally didn't touch a guitar. I didn't go into a music store. I didn't take one in my hands. I didn't look at one of my old guitars in the closet. Nothing.
But you were still listening to music, right?
I was listening to old music. Yeah, I was listening to 80s music.
Not current music.
I mean, I was listening to it. Look, I like a variety of music, really. But, just because I'll listen to Britney Spears doesn't mean I'm going to, play guitar to any of her songs, you know. But for guitar music, for rock music, I was still all about the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And I am today as well. I think literally the best rock music ever made was in the 80s. So, you know, if you look at it like that, you know, you say, you know, at the time I was inspired to play because all my friends were in bands, and, you know, I was living in Manhattan and then going on 48th Street and, you know, trying to raise money to buy guitars and learn songs that were currently on the radio every day I'm listening to. And, you know, after Nirvana, it was grunge, which was like super depressing because it's like, you know, the 80s, you know, you had party rock that every song was, you know, nothing but a good time. Let's get drunk, stoned, naked. Let's fuck. Let's do coke off this chick's big meaty tits. And let's do it all through the night until we wake up and do it again after we have a slice of pizza. You know, it's like, that was the 80s. The 90s was, you know, I'm really depressed. Looking at my feet. My girlfriend's really ugly. I got an itchy sweater. Everything sucked. In Seattle, everything sucked. So
I like that song.
Well, I'm glad you do. Someone else.
Nice.
What's it called? Come in your mouth? Come as you are in your mouth? Something like that.
No, I meant your version. Your version of that.
That's my version of it. It was. Let's put it this way. Kurt Cobain was the person that brought us grunge. It was so depressing, even he had to blow his brains out. It was that depressing music, really.
Well, you know, he was a rocker. He was inspired by 80s rock.
But
he was into all that.
If you put fucking, you know, Bret Michaels next to Kurt Cobain, Bret Michaels was like, all right, let's get this party started. Let's fuck everybody because the show's about to start. And you have Kurt Cobain, he's like, is anyone else in the audience miserable? Me too. It's rainy outside. I'm going to sing about it. I hate my life. I hate yours too. And the sweater's really itching. Yeah, everything sucked. Okay, everything sucked. So, you know, fucking CC DeVille had rainbows and gold coins shooting out his ass. Okay, and Kurt Cobain just had diarrhea. It was a total 180 from the party rock scene to the grunge scene. So yeah, I didn't want to play guitar anymore. I was totally uninspired. Totally put off it. And, you know, that was basically it, man. It was just like, you know, flashback to Hawaii, and I have this guitar in my hands and it's all flooding back to me like, why the fuck did I stop practicing guitar? And then I realized, like, shit, now all my friends who kept playing are like really amazing and I really suck. And, you know, they're like, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, Mary had a hold on. Little lamb. You know, I mean, it blew. But I realized that the first reason I picked up guitar was because I really had a true passion for playing the instrument, for learning the instrument, and the sounds it could make, and the music of the 80s that it brought about. Because the 80s was really guitar rock. Yeah. And
but what about you? I mean, you still listen to that music.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, at the time, you still put it on. Wouldn't that inspire you to pick up the guitar and play, listening to this?
No, because at the time I was hanging out with friends in bands. I was in all the rock clubs in the 80s. I was, you know, doing all the 80s parties and shit like that.
So when it was mainstream, you were in the scene.
Oh God, yeah. Totally. Okay. Totally. No,
all right, I see.
I was going to concerts like every week. And again, I was in the New York scene. You know, I mean, you had obviously Sunset Boulevard out here in Cali. But at the time, I was in, you know, Long Island, New York, which we had our own bands. We had, you know, all the guys from New York, New Jersey, and you know, the tri-state area. You had Bon Jovi and Skid Row and Twisted Sister and Danger Danger. And, you know, all those guys, we had our own little slice of that. And, of course, we were enjoying what was going on in L.A. So it was like, you know, every weekend you'd want to go to a fucking metal club. You'd want to see, hey, Aldo Nova's appearing. Fucking great. Hey, Zebra's appearing. Cool. Twisted Sister's playing. Danger Danger's opening up for someone today. Hey, Madison Square Garden, someone's playing this weekend. Nassau Coliseum somewhere's playing this weekend. Jones Beach, Poison is playing this summer. Let's get front row tickets. It was a fucking constant party, and I was always in the center of it because I love the music. I love the girls. I love the energy. I was all about it. Who the fuck didn't want to have long hair and party with that? I did. You know, I looked like a member of fucking Kiss. You know, Bruce Kulick had hair down there. So did I. You know, and same ugly curls with a ton of gel and hairspray and whatever it takes to keep it together. But you know, it was just a party scene. There was always parties with your friends, always concerts to go to, always shows. And then it just kind of left. It just stopped. And that's depressing, man. I mean, come on. You know, that's the thing. And I know you guys in the chat know what I'm talking about, you know? Yeah, and someone brought up Rob Marcello. Yeah, we had Marcello. We had, you know, his father, Pepe Marcello of the Good Rats. Suffocation. Joe Hervey's bringing up Suffocation. I'm very good friends with Terrence back then. He was coming in when I was bartending, you know. But this was the deal. This was an 80s constant party. And I was always in the thick of it, always in the scene, always at music stores, always at clubs, always at concerts. And when that left, man, it was a depressing fucking time. The 90s sucked. What came out of the 90s that was so good? Musically, what really? I mean, what came out of it? Even pop culture wise, unless you count Personal Love, the Legend of Prince Valiant cartoon, I can't think of a thing that really came out of the 90s that was really great. Name it. No, nothing.
I mean, it definitely was, you know, depressing.
It was a dark time, man. If you were a rocker like me and all your friends are like contemplating haircuts, I still had a ponytail in the 90s. And girls would come up to me and say, I don't usually like guys with long hair. That's so 80s. And then I would make them laugh and they're like, all right, you know, I guess I'll go with this guy. He's still funny and whatever. I guess I could see past the ponytail. But I was a guy rocking a ponytail in the 90s, man. I was totally out of the norm. You know, it was like I was getting by on my personality. And I don't know what happened to it. But no, but look, the bottom line was, here I am in Hawaii. I have a lot of downtime, coming full circle. And I fell in love with the instrument again. And I regretted, one of the biggest regrets in my life was ever putting down a guitar. You know, JR asks if I'm a Tool fan. I'm a fan of this Tool. That's the only Tool I'm a fan of. No. And look, I'm not against anyone who's in it. You know, people ask me, hey, what do you think of Korn? I'm like, I found it in my shit the other day, but I don't like it musically.
Oh, gross.
But again, you know, look, I'm just not into a lot of 90s music. You know, look, there's some stuff. Early 90s, you know, I think, you know, the last vestige of good, you know, rock and hair bands was coming out. You know, Warrant came out with some good stuff. Winger came out with some good stuff. Metallica came out with some good stuff. Love the Metallica Black album. That to me was the last great album they did. You know, and again, a band like Suffocation, that's a hotter guitar band. I like them. System of a Down, I liked. You know, there were bands in the 90s that I did like, but it wasn't like, shout out to Terrence Hobbs, by the way. Yes, he is an amazing guitarist. My buddy Terrence.
Awesome.
If you're out there, Terrence, I haven't seen you in a while. But yeah, no, look, I just wasn't into the grunge scene. For the most part, I was not into it, you know? And they tricked us. I got to say, they tricked us into grunge because Smells Like Teen Spirit, that song is half metal, half grunge. It was a bridge between the two genres. And that was the thing about it. It was a song that if you were metal, you were like, yeah, I like that. That's cool. And then it was like, wait a minute, something's off about it. They're not singing about getting laid. something's off about it. You know, but there was something cool about it. To this day, I will admit, I like that song. I really do. I learned it on guitar. I liked it. But then I realized after listening to the rest of that album, I was like, wait a minute. This isn't cool. Then it was over. But then it was like I was already in the train on the way to Auschwitz, you know?
Oh,
I
my
already
God.
grabbed the carrot and the box had fallen on me. I was done, you know?
I heard...
Jay.
Huh?
Jay just pops on and says, Nevermind is a great record. It had a child's penis on the cover. That should have been the sign of the end.
Oh.
But look, man, seriously. But that was the reason that I re-fell in love with the guitar, and that's kind of why I'm so over passionate about it today, because I feel like I missed like 20 odd years of that I should have been playing, I should have been practicing, I should have been doing what all my friends were, and and that was the deal, man. I mean, I have regrets about time lost. So I play guitar now and learn guitar now and practice more now because I regret the time that I wasted in my life not doing that. And that's why I also feverishly buy all the stuff I wanted in the 80s. And I stick with mostly, for the most part, guitars that were made in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I feel they were better made. I feel they represent a cooler time period. I feel like something like this next guitar I'm going to show you right now basically screams 80s glam and 80s, partying and 80s mentality. It's loud, it's flashy. Somebody said in the chat before we came on live that if I brought another ESP Kamikaze on that was cool, they would blow a wad in their pants. Get ready to blow a wad in your pants.
What's this?
Today.
Whoa.
What I have for you guys today is a blazing neon Kamikaze. Look at that bad boy.
Look at that.
And this one is different because this one, hold on now. What you'll notice about this, the green Kamikaze, the Kamikaze 4, the George Lynch edition, was neon green, neon pink, neon orange, neon yellow, but it had a maple board with a buzzsaw kind of headstock. This guy was made in the custom shop back then, very rare. I've only seen a handful ever made with an ebony board and the traditional banana reverse headstock. So you do not see that. Not on the green ones. The green ones all had a headstock that was pointed with all sorts of buzzsaw action going on here and a maple board. So this is custom, back from the custom shop, right at the tail end of when music was cool. And guess who put his signature on it for me? It's my man, George Lynch.
Oh, look at that.
And again, non-recessed Floyd Rose, real Floyd Rose. I'm sorry if the color looks a little off, by the way. That's how it should be. But just so you guys could get a look at that. There you go. Reverse headstock, matching reverse headstock. But again, ebony board and a banana headstock. The original 4 designs of Kamikaze, you had the black one, then you had the blue one, then you had the desert camouflage. Those all had this type of traditional Kamikaze reverse headstock. But for some reason, George wanted to change it up. He wanted a maple board and he wanted that buzzsaw headstock. I don't know why, but I liked the traditional ones. And to find one like this took me freaking forever, especially with an ebony board. So very, 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 very rare ESP and very rare George Lynch guitar if you guys are following along of the Kamikazes. But just look at the color on that thing. And this is my favorite combo of, other than the pink and purple one I brought on last week, the one-of-a-kind. This is my favorite model of Kamikaze color-wise. Plus, again, I love the neon green and pink. You know, so Bam Mosey says it looks like an LSD vomit explosion. Yeah, so let's see. Fruitcake Tony says totally agree. The 90s blue. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. And Joe Hervey, you're very welcome, because I do like sharing my collection with everyone. Okay, when you own a lot of guitars, you have to, you know, accept the responsibility of maintaining them, but you should also accept the responsibility of not throwing them in a fucking vault or storage or something like that. You should share them with your peers. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to mail each of you a guitar, as tempted as I am, because I love you guys. I really appreciate you. But I do like to share with you. I do like to show these off, and I do like to let everyone in on the secret, or if you come over to my house, let you play something if I have something at the ready. So I do like sharing with you guys. So here you go. Yeah, I'm dying to know who this Kamikaze pilot actually was. I mean, George just picked up the photo, but it was a real Kamikaze pilot. You know, so that's kind of neat. And thank you, Mad Dog. Thank you for the nice words. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, and Marty, well, Marty McFly, I guess, brings up a really good point. He says, I miss the days of seeing stuff like this on the wall at the local music shop. And let me tell you something. I lived in a place where you could go, you know, I'm talking Manhattan at the time, New York City. And at the time, and I'm sure you had it the same thing over here in Hollywood, there was a street, 48th Street, where you could just go down the street, and all it was these big, magical, overflowing guitar shops. So you had Manny's Music, you had 48th Street Custom, you had a huge Sam Ash, you had Rudy's, you had a bunch of others, and amp makers, and, you know, things like that. You had the original 48th Street Custom Shop, which was early ESP for the United States. And you would go in these shops, and every week they would be loading the walls with these colorful glam guitars that just blew your mind. Graphics, neon colors, sparkle, weird shapes, pointy shapes, all sorts of crazy shit. Because, dude, the 80s was a time that will never be repeated. As crazy, other than Steel Panther, which I love. It was really a time where you would just casually walk into a place with a crushed velvet pirate shirt laced up and leather leopard pants, and just walk up in your boots, which you all had, and look and say, yeah, okay, that Kramer Beretta with the holograms on it, yeah, let me rock that. There were plenty of them, tons of them, everywhere you looked. Now you go into Guitar Center, and it's depression. It's like, it kind of reminds me of what Pamela Anderson's vagina must be like right now. Oh, you know, very, very similar. I'm sure it's a similar situation. Back in the 80s, everyone was in it and looking around, and it was really hot as can be. But yeah, no, nowadays not so much. It's not very interesting looking. But I'm just saying, as an example.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
as an analogy. Did you just come? Did you just come, Johnny? I heard that. Oh, okay. You commented.
No, I do remember though. I remember music stores in the. Well, I first started playing in the late 80s. So, what year did you start playing?
88.
Okay, I started in 87.
But you kept going.
Yeah, there hasn't been a day where I haven't. Yeah, yeah. But yes, I do remember going into guitar shops, when I was first starting, and I could, I could play, but I always looked at, I don't know if that makes sense, but I do remember the big walls of all the Kramers, all the Kramer guitars and the like Hamer, all the Hamer guitars at the time.
You had Kramer, Jackson, Charvel, BC Rich. You had starting off. I mean, you had Carvin. You had Hamer. You had ESP. Ibanez had all the
Ibanez
colors then. I mean,
I
that was
remember all the Ibanez stuff.
I bought an Ibanez Gem 777 Loch Ness green off the wall. That was my third guitar. Right off the wall.
I always wanted one of the like the one with all the vines, the vine up the neck, all the what do you call it? What's that one called?
Like the one that Nesdal has, the black one with the green vine.
No. He had it on the cover of a Guitar World in '88.
The floral one.
The floral, yeah.
Okay.
I always liked that one.
The floral gem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have one of those, but a friend got it for me as a gift. Yeah, that vine was called the Tree of Life, and it was basically I have that on that yellow Steve Vai gem, Steve's own gem that I brought over to Nesdal's during my first show, and you guys could check the archives for that if you want. I have one of Steve Vai's personal gems that he used on the Skyscraper tour, the main guitar he used on that tour, and he replaced it with a vine inlay, and I remember seeing those on the wall. I mean, those were brand new. I mean, that was a time when you could walk in there and there was just excitement in the air. The colors, the graphics, the shapes, the playability of these things, because these were now super strats. These were made for an era of guitar-driven music, and that's not what the 90s was. That's not what that's not what the 70s. Yeah, but it was more like Les Pauls and some Fenders, and you were starting to get into stuff in the 70s. But like the 80s, that was when you had guys like Eddie and guys like Randy doing all these guitar tricks and shredding and tapping and all this great stuff on these guitars that were suddenly built different, for different purpose. Floyd Roses were now, or General Whammy bars in general, were now a big part of what you were dealing with. Crowbar says my friend had a hot pink RG and the disappearing pyramids back in the 90s. Not a gem. Yeah, I mean, they took custom orders and stuff, but the gem was still it. And yes, Tube Supio, I do still have my green gem. I still have all of my original 8 guitars. I do.
That's cool. That's cool. I still have like 3 of my first guitars, or 4 or 5.
Out of how many?
Probably 5. Out of how many? Well, the most guitars I ever had at one time was 50.
Okay.
So
and how many do you have now?
Now I probably have like half that. I probably have like 25.
Okay.
Maybe.
I would give half of my collection to turn back time and have not lost 20 years of practicing. Because it's almost frustrating today to learn a part of a song while, my buddies are like by ear just playing the whole thing. And I'm like, fuck, And that's all just time. That's all just practice that I stupidly just, walked away from.
Were you ever in bands?
No, I was never that good. I'm not good that good now. No, really. But it's like, I was taking lessons back then, and I would get home from my job at the time, and I would sit there and pick it up and practice, and I would do it because I enjoyed it. You know, just like now, I get home, there's not a day that goes by that I don't reach for something, like, you know, besides my cock, and play with it. You know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was always in bands. I mean, I was always in bands, always, you know, always jamming with people.
But how long was it? That you had started playing till you had joined your first band?
Well, my first performance was after
No, not sex. I'm talking band.
Okay. Well, this was kind of a band. It was me and this other guitar player. We started at the same time, taking lessons together. And then it was probably, I don't know, a couple months later, he hated me and I never saw him again, you know. But my first time I ever played on stage was after I'd been playing for a week. And this was at school. I played at the school, like on one of the stages for one of the classes for like all 3 classes or whatever that were on that floor. And I didn't even have a guitar strap. I had to sit in a chair and play, you know? And then I had to go to summer school that summer. And the way I got out of going to summer school was I would take my guitar with me to the summer school and I'd play for all the different classes there.
So what, you were in the middle of social studies, you'd pull out a guitar, you just start noodling around, and all of a sudden, like, get out of here, Mr. Beane. You're dismissed. Go to the principal's office. Was it like the audience is listening?
It was like that video, yeah.
Mr. Beane, you're too loud.
That's
Johnny,
exactly.
It's getting too loud in here.
That's what it was like. And yeah, Thomas McLaughlin.
Little Johnny Vi.
Mm-hmm.
No, listen. When I was really, really young, my parents, like, you know, they bought me. Here was my mistake in life. My parents bought me a Sears acoustic guitar with vinyl strings and forced me to take lessons on Saturday mornings when I wanted to watch fucking cartoons. So
that sounds like a classical guitar.
Yeah, and dude, I can't describe how badly I hated this instrument and how badly I hated taking lessons on Saturday, how badly I wanted out of there, how badly I hated any song they taught me, because they fucking had me with this big fucking stupid guitar that made no sounds that I liked. I mean, I'm listening to fucking Dio,
yeah,
you know, and you know, early albums that were really good. I'm listening to the first Dokken album and Kiss Dressed to Kill, and I'm sitting there and some guy's going, okay, again. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? G. What do you do with a drunken sailor? A. Early in the morning. And I was like, hate your fucking guts, guitar teacher. Hate your fucking guts, good. You know, and you know, Mr. and Mrs. Mancuda, I can't teach your son. He doesn't want to learn. He's disruptive. He hates the guitar. And so, my parents, my loving father, of course, you know, you're gonna learn that fucking song. So I'm sitting there, and you know, all right, fine. I learned the 3 damn chord changes, and I go. My parents are like, well, you should go to the school talent show if you know a song. And I'm like, I don't know a song. I don't know a good song. I don't know anything related to a song. I know the rhythm of What Do You Do with a Drunken Sailor on that stupid piece of shit you bought me. That's what I know. Well, you should try out for the talent show. So I go to the talent show audition as a little kid. I go to this talent show audition, and I have this big goofy fucking piece of shit guitar. And, you know, I don't even know how to like properly play it, but like, they're like, do you need a stool? I'm like, do I need a stool? Yeah, I need a stool. Of course I need a stool. Who plays guitar without a stool? So They bring me a stool. I sit down and I'm like, fuck, this is uncomfortable. And I push the stool aside and now I'm on my knees and playing this stupid song. And they're just looking. The judges are just looking. This is for the auditions for the talent show. And the judges are just looking at each other like, why the fuck is this kid auditioning? And that was basically it. And I at that point realized, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, what did I let my parents do? I hate this fucking thing. And I don't know what happened to it. I think I threw it in the garage or something. Never saw it again. And I hated the instrument. Absolutely hated the instrument. Man. And then for the next 2 talent shows, I auditioned for them, and I kicked ass because I did comedy skits. Because everyone's like, you're really funny. Why don't you do comedy? And I was like, And then I found my calling. It was like, well, it was basically saying, if you're too stupid to do something real, then you should probably do comedy. Okay, so I did that. So,
man, I did all that stuff too. I did the talent shows. I played. My first guitar was electric though too. I started on electric. I didn't start on a classical or acoustic or anything. My first guitar was actually, I still have it. The body's in the corner over there.
But when you got your first guitar, you loved the instrument, right?
Yeah.
Because you wanted that guitar, right?
Yeah.
Because you can make really cool sounds with it, right?
He's in the chat, right? I wanted to be Marty McFly. That's what I wanted to be. When he's in front of that huge amp, and he hits that chord with the metal pick.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, dude. I didn't want that guitar. I didn't want that guitar. I'll tell you what got me into guitar. Years later, many years later, in 1988, when I was like, a little older, I had a girlfriend. And she's basically like, hey, your birthday's coming up. I want to get you something really cool. What do you want? And I was like, I don't know. And, well, think of something you've always wanted. And I was like, and this was during, this is 1988. So I'm sitting there watching all my guys, go to town on MTV. And I'm like, I'd love an electric guitar. And sure as shit, that was the thing that really got me into guitar was she got me an electric guitar, and the electric guitar was the musical instrument that I really wanted because it made all the cool sounds. You know, I could sit there and say, I was like, I could play Poison. I could figure that out. That was what I wanted. I didn't even know about that stuff until I actually had one in my hands. I didn't even think about it until I had one in my hands. I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the thing that got me into guitar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had an electric guitar. I had a little amp with the distortion. My first pedal was the DoD hard rock distortion pedal or whatever. So I'd have the distortion. I'd put on even more distortion, and then I got a whammy bar, and just took off from there. And yeah, I was in bands. I still have all the cassettes of every. I pretty much recorded everything I've ever done. Is on a tape.
Cool.
Is on a tape.
You have recordings of the first time you started playing stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I would give anything for a video of me at that talent show with that stupid fucking acoustic. I just wanted to smash it into a million pieces. Like that. I should have done that. You know what? I'll tell you something. No lie. I really believe this. As much as I enjoy doing TV shit and comedy stuff, if my parents would have gotten me an electric guitar when I was that young as they got me that stupid acoustic, and if they would have set me up lessons on a weekday, I guarantee by the time the 80s rolled around, I would have wanted to seriously join a band. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Here's acoustic vinyl string.
Oh, I love those guitars now. I love classical. Did I have one? I've never owned a classical. I've always wanted one.
You should have known me when I was 5. I would have given you mine.
I play more acoustic now than I do electric. You know, like here at
acoustic.
Like here at home.
I don't own an acoustic, not a one.
I've got the that acoustic right behind the David Ennis Wolfgang. David Ennis, thank you again so much, man. There's an acoustic right there. I put brand new strings on that on Saturday morning. I was sitting there on that couch playing that acoustic for hours, doing like all this stuff. And even though my hand was sore, you know, after a while, I picked up the electric guitar and it was like nothing. You know, that's how if you want to warm up on acoustic. But I love the instrument though too. I love playing and I love creating and the sound. So to me, you know, it doesn't have to have distortion and whammy bars and all that. You know, I would gladly play your first nylon string guitar, you know.
See, and to this day, the only acoustic I ever actually liked, and I still don't own one, was an Ovation like plastic back. You know, the round back ones.
Yeah.
The thin round back ones. That's the only time I ever thought an acoustic was cool, was one of those 80s Ovations. And even then, I'm thinking, what would I ever play with it? Okay, Poison Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Warrant's Heaven, and that's it. And those I could play clean just on an electric. Why would I own an acoustic? Why? You know? Mm-hmm. But I do like the Ovations. I will admit that. Maybe someday I'll get one of those round back Ovations. But to this day, 300-something guitars, not one acoustic. Not one. I'm not traumatized.
I've told you guys, I've played when I lived with Desmond Child. He had an Ovation acoustic there in the studio. And it was a gift from John Bon Jovi because the 12th fret said JBJ, the inlay right there. And I played that guitar. Actually, I have pictures of that guitar. Maybe I'll find them and
have him send me that one, and I will own that one. I'll make the sacrifice.
But man, talking about doing the talent shows, I did all that stuff back in the day. I would crash other schools' talent shows. I would show up with the guitar, and because I would know like one of the bands that was playing, and they would let me. I would crash and jam with them. And there is footage on the channel here of me crashing a talent show in a gymnasium in 1993 and playing my Ernie Mull Music Man, doing all the Van Halen stuff and the place going crazy. There is video of that on the channel here.
That's insanely cool.
Yeah. 1993.
Dude, I would kill to have footage of the 2 talent shows that I like brought the house down. I did 2 really fucking funny comedy skits, and just even into my college years, people were like bringing it up to me. And this was like when I was a little kid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like even parents are like, "Oh, Jonathan Mancuda, you were that funny kid with the Twinkie and that funny thing you did on the talent show. I remember that. I'm still laughing about that." I'm like, you need to get a life. Yeah, wow. That's so cool that you have footage of that. I'd love to hear your first recordings and shit. And you know what sucks? Your first recordings as a kid is probably way better than the shit that I still play today as an adult.
It's crazy listening. I still have the cassettes of all that. I should actually take some time and transfer all that stuff to digital because it'll go away at some point, you know. But I mean, all that stuff, it's still burned into every time I would play those tapes. It's been years. It's been years and years and years since I've heard them. I still have them. I have a huge tub
library.
Yeah, I have a huge tub of that are all cassettes, all from from 1988 up until, just recently of whenever I used a cassette, How many years is that? Is that 30 years? 31? I have 31 years worth of cassettes. Somewhat.
That's so fucking cool,
Um,
though. That's so cool.
It's
There are like TV scenes I've done that I don't have recordings of.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like stuff when you were a kid being recorded.
I have audio stuff, some video stuff. Actually, I might have some video of me in like 1990 playing the Kramer with the long hair, all that stuff,
Oh, that must have been cool as fuck.
And I still have that guitar. That's still my Kramer guitar, which is in there somewhere. That was, the guitar. I still have it.
See, I'm glad I still have, my first 8 guitars, because I had a 9th one, but it was like an import. I bought it at a pawn shop, and I didn't bond with it. It was like a Gibson SG copy, and I learned early on, like, I'm not going to keep something I'm not going to enjoy playing. So like I sold it like after a month, and I don't regret it. It's like, listen, the only recordings I think I still have from my childhood, it's like probably my father beating me. It's like, I think that's the only recordings that, you press play on the cassette. It's like, come here, you! Ah! 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 Shut up! Did you talk to me? Ah! 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 Don't you ever come here! Ah! No! Ah! Are you crying? Yes! Ah! Don't cry!
Yeah. Oh, don't be stupid, you moron.
Yeah, I know, right? Believe me, I parallel that life. No, I guarantee my father probably somewhere has a library of that. I'm probably going to like find the key after he's dead to a safe deposit box, and I'm going to open it up. It's going to be all these cassettes of like, audio recordings of me getting beaten. Bring me my strap! Ah! 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 I told you can't have that pudding. Did you eat that last pudding? No, you're lying. Ah! Ah! I'm telling you, that's my life. Welcome to my world. That's my life. And thank you for the kind words, James Severin. Thank you so much, man. Yeah. I guarantee. I think it's so cool, man, that you have. I'll tell you, I have my first Playboy. It's like a brick right now. It's like a brick, like one big crusty brick. But I got it. I'm gonna encase it in lucite. But yeah.
I still have the penthouse with Madonna in it.
You know what? I bought that as an investment. I have like 3 copies. I thought I was being like a really smart kid. I was like, I'm gonna make so much money off of this. And it's like, even now, like I could probably get $1 for all of them on eBay.
Yeah. I don't know how I got it. It must have I used to collect guitar player magazines, like back in the day, and I had like stacks of guitar players, and I think somehow, that got thrown in somehow. I don't know, but
yeah, I think I have a penis player is what I have. So it's a mirror. Jeez. I'm surprised I didn't get smacked in the face with that acoustic guitar. It's like my dad hit me so much. It was like finding things to hit me with. It's like he'd crack me with his belt and he'd be like, I need something harder. Broomstick. Something harder. Acoustic guitar. And you know what it was? It was like, my mom would be like, well, it's because you were fresh to your mother. I just wanted more food. Yeah. What a fucking childhood that traumatized me. I had. I see
Man.
in the chat they're all talking about loving childhoods. Let's see. Rick Hafner says, my mother was a hit you with anything that was close by woman, but I had a super smart ass mouth and probably deserved it. Dude, you can only imagine what an angel I was.
I could always run, you know.
I could run and my father could throw. It worked out very well for me because once he got his hands on me,
I was always running. I was always hiding all the time. And then I had a key to like the back door or whatever. And so I would come back when everyone's
you're a
asleep.
backdoor man.
Yeah.
Backdoor man.
I could always get away, you know.
Yeah,
And I
wanted me to get away, but I kept coming back because I was hungry.
I was always gone too, you know. Man, if there was only vlogging back then, man, if there was only, just imagine if there was, you know, Instagram, all the stuff we have now, if we had that stuff back in the day.
Oh God, I'd never leave the porn sites. No, seriously, my arm would be built up like this. You ever watch that Family Guy where
Yeah.
what's his name? The next door neighbor, Giggity.
Quagmire.
Glenn Quagmire discovers the internet, and Peter's like, why do you buy any magazines? You could just go on the internet and get porn free. I can porn free, and all of a sudden, like you see him come out the next day, he's all exhausted, his arms built up like this.
Oh my gosh.
Joe Hervey, any plans to come to Long Island? I'd have you, if you're okay with it, to sign a pickup plate. Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, not any immediate plans, but I will contact you when I come home to visit my parents, which I will soon. You know, you'll see me broadcasting from Nesdall's that day. But I definitely I sign anything for anybody, and I appreciate the ask. Thank you. So what else we got? we've gone from guitars to violent parents and my hatred of acoustics.
That was a nice Kiss segment, man. You know, I learned a lot.
I feel bad for ripping on Vinny, but you know, look, I'm only ripping on his behavior, not him as a musician. I'm a huge fan of Vinny as a musician, and I absolutely respect his right, if he is transitioning, to be left to that. So, and yes, Renus, I will sign your pinkle.
What is a pinkle?
You know, Renus.
Hey,
that's one of my favorite names on here.
Hey, Rob 212. Hello,
Rob 212. Right now, those in the podcast are like, holy shit, this must look amazing on video.
Yeah. Well, hey.
New segment called Pillow Talk with Mancuda and Nesdall.
Oh.
So what, Dave and I should cuddle up? That'd be really funny. Dave and I just spooned. He's looking all easy, and I'm talking about my childhood, stroking his breast. And, you know, yeah, back when I was a kid, my father used to beat me a lot, and Dave's just like, stop.
Man, well, yeah, speaking of the podcast, you guys, you know, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify, and soon, well, I mean, it's been like a month. Come on, iHeartRadio.
The show has been expanding. You guys might notice that.
Mm-hmm.
We've been branching out.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and like I introduced tonight, you guys, if this only works while we're live, though, so you got to jump right into the chat. You know, like let's say you thought, you know, the last minute of right now has been awesome. You can type in the chat exclamation point clip, CLIP, just like that, just like I did, and that'll give you a link to the last minute of the video, like a totally separate link, and you can share that link on Facebook, Twitter, you know, wherever you like to share stuff.
Yeah, Phil Mosley Music brings up something. He wrote "Cod Past." Yeah, no, that was one of my first sexual experiences. Was taking a piece of raw cod and folding it over and having sex with it. So that was the cod of my past. Yes, cod.
Oh
past,
my
absolutely.
gosh. Oh, the smell.
Hobo Roadie 69, back at you, brother.
Hey, Hobo.
Or he just invited me to 69. Wait.
I don't know. Oh, that's him saying there's 69 thumbs ups right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's what he's saying.
Can we have some more thumbs up since Johnny and I like to see thumbs up as we're carrying the show ourselves tonight? We'd really appreciate it because we do, once again, appreciate you guys out in the audience, our viewers, our chat buddies, everyone in the chat. We love you guys. So please, if you could do us the favor of some thumbs up, we really appreciate it. Share the video, tell your friends, subscribe, like us, come back and see us.
Mm-hmm.
Renus Pinkle says, my band's name is the Four Skins. That's pretty great. Love it. And again, the Johnny Beane phone is open. If you guys want to leave us a message, we might play them on the show. The funny ones we do, the interesting ones we do, some of the cool ones we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Leave a message. Leave a message. What is it? Where's the number? There it is. You can leave a message right there.
1-800 blow me. There you go. Thank you, Nightbot.
There it is. Leave a message, and yeah, we'll play them. We'll play them over the air.
Yeah, we'll play it.
You have to go out? You got to go out? Oh, man, it's getting dark. I didn't realize how... Oh, it's like 10 to 8.
Oh, jeez. Everyone in the chat is like, hey, we're enjoying the show. And Johnny has to put the damper on it just like Nirvana did in the 90s.
Well, I got to...
Can we thank our unofficial sponsors? Tessie Switch and Swiss Picks and who else we want to thank out of the blue?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone. For everyone, thank everybody for watching,
Definitely thank you all for watching. We love you guys. We really, really, really appreciate our audience.
Okay.
Joe Herbie 84, thank you, man.
Time to stream in the yard. Yeah. I got to take him out real quick.
All right, man. I think we've had enough fun today. What do you guys think?
3 more thumbs ups.
Fuck off. Fuck off. Goes over. Fuck off. Are we still doing hijacks to other chats?
Oh, somebody just called and hung up.
Quick.
I don't know what that was.
Someone just left a weird message.
They called and then they hung up.
Mom? That's my dad right now. You motherfucker! I told you not to tell anyone on the air about that. You piece of shit. You stupid asshole. Wait till you fucking visit Long Island. I'll break your jaw.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. All right. I got to take him out. He's telling me. Right. This is the third time he's come up here. He's like,
ready to blow.
He's like, I'm serious. Yeah.
All right, guys. Everyone, thank you so much. Leave a thumbs up. I will see you guys next week. Tech more on Tuesday. Thank you for hanging with us tonight. Love you all, really.
Yes. We love you all.
Rock on.
All right. See you guys later. Johnny Beane. Johnny Beane TV. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Rock on.